Okay, so there is a mod that can give any car out there way more downforce and somehow reduce drag at the same time. Not only that, but that mod is invisible. We're gonna be doing this very thing to this sick little rally car right here. And to do it, we've come to an off-road truck shop. I'll explain in a minute.
And this is part of two regular people's journey into rally, where I'm turning my stock daily into a rally car and going full send on the stages.
And on my side of things, in the last episodes, you saw us complete a wild engine swap, which had us fighting with the big dogs at the front of the pack at the following rally. But one small mistake ended it all. Broken bones, a destroyed car, and having to restart everything from scratch. Things were pretty bleak, but we are back. Bones have healed, we've bet everything on a new beast of a car, and we are aiming for the very, very top. How far can we take this? Subscribe and let's find out together. Welcome to Season 3 of Gravel Co.
3, 2, 1, go.
This is a rally car. Rally cars need underbody protection. We're gonna do like the ultimate underbody protection on this thing, which is the same thing as saying we're doing a flat floor. Not to dive too far into the nerdy aero kind of things, but when you have low pressure on the bottom of something and high pressure on the top, it wants to draw it down to the road, which effectively makes your entire car a wing. The whole thing. And not only that, but it also reduces drag as well. And so there are so many benefits to doing a flat floor.
The underside of a normal vehicle is a pretty chaotic place for airflow, with so many different objects and surfaces that majorly obstruct clean airflow underneath the car. And this can actually be a part of producing lift at high speeds. In other words, your car effectively gets lighter on the road the faster you drive, which was definitely the case with my last car, and it was pretty scary at times.
And what better place to come to do like a full protective flat floor, get it like really, really well designed, than a really badass off-road shop. And that's why we're at Overland Outfitters. This is Braden over here. He's the main man at this place, fabricator extraordinaire. We're gonna show you his crazy friggin' truck, which is about 10 feet in that direction. Don't show them yet! And yeah, Braden, thanks for having us out.
Of course.
You also run a sick, mostly off-road themed YouTube channel, also called Overland Outfitters.
Yeah.
You should go check that out. We got some work to do.
We better get cracking, actually.
In less than 4 days' time, we're gonna go to Dirtfish Rally School and put all of this to the test, and maybe even race Braden in one of his off-road trucks while we're at it. So there's a timeline here. We need to get to work. Let me show you what we're gonna do. So the front will be covered by one section. That's gonna be the main skid plate. We're gonna make that out of 1/4-inch aluminum. Nice thick aluminum there. And then the center section, we'll see. The 1/4-inch aluminum doesn't weigh quite as much as I thought it was going to, so we may just go 1/4-inch all the way back. But we're gonna do the center section sort of in between these frame rails. And then as we come back to here, there's gonna be a third section that's gonna cover all of this running gear here and the rear diff.
And as far as the general design of this project, well, when Subaru brought us out to the Olympus Rally to hang out, we wound up getting a pretty close look at their design. So we're just gonna use that as inspiration. I'm feeling inspired. A flat floor is something that could be done to almost any vehicle, but in our rally-specific case, we have to do a few extra things to get the very most out of all this work and effort. Fortunately, most of these things are also sick, like installing a lightweight TSS Fab front subframe and tucking up the exhaust, which has to mean deleting that pesky resonator. So we'll get to hear what an essentially straight-piped EJ207 sounds like. Oh baby! So here's the list. Number 1, install TSS Fab subframe so that we have the best mounting points possible. 2, we're gonna 3D scan the underbody of the car and start designing the floor and, more importantly, the mounting points for the floor. 3, we're gonna chop up that exhaust for more clearance and with a nice little straight pipe sound test, of course. Number 4, install flat floor. And 5, go drive on some upside down roads because of how much downforce we have now.
Okay, Potato Cam Ryan here. One of the other big nice things about having a flat floor is it's probably one of the most balanced forms of downforce you can have on your car. And why I say that is because, you know, if you were to put like a big wing on the back of your car, but you did nothing else to it, now all of a sudden you'd have a bunch more downforce on the back, and it would weight the back and unweight the front. Or if you were to put, you know, a big splitter on the front, it would weight the front more than the back, and you would have balance issues. It would understeer or you get oversteer. There's all these different things that you'd have to account for all across the whole car. But for a flat floor, it creates downforce really evenly across the entire, well, underside of the whole thing. So it sucks the whole car down evenly, and you don't have to worry about front to rear balance nearly as much, which is sweet.
Okay, subframe time, and I am sure we're not going to immediately run into some huge problems, right?
you can see from the crash that the engine just sheared straight off of the subframe, or like off of the engine mounts. Bit gnarly.
Pretty gnarly there.
Bit gnarly. We're complicating things. We always like to complicate things more than they need to be, but we had the TSS Fab subframe from the H6 swap, and that should bolt up into this car. And the other part about that is that we put in a 2008 plus steering rack into that. And so all this was fabricated for all of those requirements. And the steering rack we had was leaking like a sieve in this car before. So we thought if we could put this in, we save at least 10 pounds of weight to offset some of the weight that we're gonna put on with that steel underbody. Way better mounting points, a better steering rack. There's gonna be some complications with it, but hopefully this main part bolts in all right.
Now, because the 6-cylinder H6 engine that the subframe is built around is much bigger than the 4-cylinder EJ engine that's in this new car, I thought clearance wouldn't be an issue. But I thought wrong. The EJ exhaust manifold takes up way more space than I anticipated, so as is, the subframe just won't fit, which really sucks. What's crazy to me is that Braden isn't phased at all. He devised a plan to make it all work and went at it with all those fancy, sick fabrication equipment they have access to there. It was impressive, and in no time he modified the subframe, and we were back in business. And now that we have the proper mounting points, it's time to scan the car.
Easy. Wow. Sick.
Sweet.
Nice job, man.
Yeah, there's lots of clearance there.
Yeah. We gotta scan this thing, hey?
Yeah.
I mean, to do it right, anyways. And
We could do some cardboard aided design as you were asking about earlier.
do some cardboard design, but this looks...
this will take us a few days rather than a whole week.
Okay. So why would you scan the bottom of the car? What is that doing for you?
So when you go through this 3D scanning process, it's going to give you a lot more accurate points in space for 3D modeling later on. So generally you're going to get a more accurate product the first time around rather than using something like cardboard.
It's a boy.
And after the scan, it's on to the pewter, where everybody takes turns pointing at a screen until an absolutely 100% not copied, totally original design is completed. Like we mentioned before, the skid plate design itself is technically the easier part of this whole thing. It's the mounting points and making sure everything clears properly and is strong enough. Well, that's the tricky part.
Yeah, so we were just, in that design meeting, and it's so tricky because we have to put ourselves in the mindset of the guy who has just been given 20 minutes to change a transmission. So not having the skid plate too big, thinking about only having one socket size for the whole thing. Gotta put your mind in the head of the person who's doing that ridiculous job on your car. Mount painted and everything. Oh baby. So there's a mount there, and there's a mount there. Right, over here.
Should be pretty good.
Sweet. This is one of the other curveballs that we're just tossing Braden's way.
Okay, bonus install project that we really wanted to get done while at Overland Outfitters is putting in the all-important steering quickener that I had in my last car. This handling mod is so important for a rally car that we made a full video about it, which you can check out here. And it was the first thing that I put on my to-do list when I got this new car. This quickener makes it so that for every full turn of the steering wheel, it's turning the shaft into the steering rack 1.5 times. So what used to be about an 800-degree lock-to-lock rack is now effectively a 600-degree lock-to-lock rack. This makes a massive difference for both speed and safety. And it's one of the biggest differentiating factors between a higher-end rally car and a lower-end rally car.
Oh! There's so much more steering angle!
Quickeners are not expensive, but there is some fabrication involved. But let me tell you, despite its drawbacks and downsides, in my opinion, the quickener is 100,000% worth it.
Do we have that intermediate shaft with the two ends?
Gotta find out if the splines are gonna work. Please work.
That looks coarse. That looks fine.
All right, we've got to call Vex Performance. We can make it work. We can make it work. We can make it work. Oh God. So if you were to take that end.
Are you filming right now?
So, hey! The answer is always yes. So we're seeing what can be done to move stuff from here to here. They're both Subaru Impreza GC8 columns, but this is from a 95 and this is from a 98.
Okay, I see.
Oh, I see.
I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this chunk off, stick it on here. I'm going to cut this chunk off, stick it on here. I'll cut that shorter. I'll weld this tab onto there. And then we'll just use that column. Okay.
Okie dokie. Yep. Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Oh, so is that the intermediate shaft now?
Yep.
Is it actually?
It actually is.
That's such good timing. As far as like, oh, I'm about to cut the thing apart and the part shows up.
Imagine if you and I just like knew how to fabricate stuff and like had the tools to do it.
That'd be dangerous.
You could do anything.
Yeah.
And by anything, like I mean like you can build that truck.
Side quest completed.
With most of the mounts done, it's time to cut and fabricate the most critical piece to this whole floor, the front skid plate. On a rally car, this plate gets absolutely clobbered by huge rocks and a whole bunch of other fun things while traveling at very high speeds. So it's got to be super, super tough. We're also integrating the two main toe points into this design because the stock ones on an old Impreza are like Swiss cheese. And you can see that they created recessed spots where the skid plate bolts up to keep the bolts up and out of the way.
Drill some holes at some point. Right here. All right. Now we double check our measurements.
And now that we're working on the center portion, it's finally time to cut up that exhaust.
All right. Don't need this anymore. So it's like pass through, right? So it's not like going through a bunch of channels and baffles or whatever. But it must have been doing something because that exhaust was just never very loud. Definitely happy, very happy to get rid of this thing. I can't wait to hear what it sounds like without it. Just trying to see how much you can rotate that exhaust kind of up into the rear subframe. Tuck it in as much as we can. It's just way too quiet to be a rally.
Yeah, I mean, that feels like a pass thing, so yeah.
Everything else is good for firing this thing up? Yep. Okay. Battery on. Ignition. And...
Oh, actually, hold up. All right. Yeah, you're good.
We're good now?
Yeah.
Hey, it sounds like a rally car now.
Right on.
That sounded so much better. Okay, the flat floor is done and it looks
absolutely insane. It's just saying you can do 50-50 your Subaru now, which we're definitely gonna do at some point. We gotta cap this off because after just a couple of laps at test day, it was eating away at this fiberglass rear bumper. It's just destroying it. So we're gonna kill two birds with one stone like we've been doing, and we're gonna give all of this the protection that it needs. And also this kind of just gives the air like a natural pathway out from underneath the car. And when you get the air moving in this nice direction, it actually makes your wing work a lot better too, which is pretty cool. Everything's all connected all over the car. So we're gonna put this on. We're gonna do it like cheap and easy and quick here because it is just about 8 p.m. and we have to do this and then wake up at like 4 a.m. tomorrow morning to go to Dirtfish. So we're gonna do this quickly with zip ties. Thanks.
We were in the middle of creating the flaps that cover the trailing arms and all the other very important bits back there, but we ran out of time, so there's that.
Okay, it has been 4 days of hard work. So much has happened in that time. It was a lot more than just a flat floor. Ended up doing that subframe and the quickener and all the different things that had to happen to put that flat floor on. It was wild. And so we decided to come to Overland Outfitters because, I mean, they're like an insane off-road truck shop who have decided to put some of their fabrication know-how towards cars like this. They are building cages for race cars and rally cars. They're getting like fully on into it. They're stoked about it. And this is what happens when you have guys like that do work like this. It's incredible. Don't mind this part. You know that that was just us, but the rest of it is incredible. Flat floor, fully protected, front to back of this car. And we got it all done just barely in time to head to Dirtfish Rally School tomorrow morning, 5 a.m. We're rolling out of here. This thing's going to be going head to head with a WRC2 level car and an off-road truck. Oh my God! So we'll see you there.